I have a question for you. Is your mouth that you use for music, is it making you money or is it costing you money? What do I mean? I'm talking about, are you using it to yell at people, tell people off, ruin relationships, and say things that you shouldn't because you got mad, because you got upset, and now that relationship is gone? There was a time when I was on tour. I can't remember what city it was, but I was one of the main support bands, and I found out I wasn't getting paid as much as I should have been. And I started freaking out. I lost it. And I ended up, really kind of telling off this new booking agent because, and he wasn't actually a very good dude. But the point was, the way I approached him, the way I handled it was very bad manners. It was very freaking out. It was very heated. I should have taken the time to calmly call him, calmly email him, and present this problem in a completely different way. But I freaked out. I lost my temper. And I remember him saying, because it was more of a mainstream booking agent, and I'm supposed to be the Christian artist doing mainstream tours and traveling. And he was like, man, like I thought this guy was like a Christian and stuff, and he's just like losing his crap. And there's a lot of other things that led up to that, and I'm not excusing my poor behavior, but the point is that like I could have responded differently, and instead I reacted. And maybe you have reacted wrongly to somebody and ruined the relationship. Maybe it was a producer. Maybe it was a manager. Maybe it was a record label. Maybe it was your A&R. Maybe it was your boyfriend or girlfriend, and you just lost your junk. And instead of just shutting your mouth and moving on, I want to share in my book, Fighter, 5 Keys to Conquering Fear and Reaching Your Dreams. In chapter 2, I talk about perseverance. And there's a quote in here. It says, "Speak when you are angry, and you will make the best speech you will ever regret." It's by Ambrose Bierce. It's a quote. You open up your mouth when you're angry and you will make the best speech you will ever regret. There's so many times where I wish I just shut my mouth in my relationship with my wife. I've been married for 19 years this year, and that's probably the reason why I'm still married, is because I've learned to shut my mouth. I've learned to keep the junk and learn how to present things in the right manner. There was a time earlier, I think it was last year, I collaborated with an artist or did something with an artist, and there was something that happened that I didn't really love, and I had learned now to not freak out and to calmly present the problem so I don't ruin the relationship. Look, there's going to be friction no matter what level of success you are at. Like, just because you hit this goal or hit this goal, it doesn't mean you're not going to have problems. You might not have these problems down below, but there's different problems. And you got to learn to shut your mouth and to speak in love. In this book right here, the Bible, it says in James, I think it is 1:19, "So then, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, and slow to wrath." Okay? So be quicker more to listen. So that's even like when you're having an argument or a disagreement with someone, try to hear their side of the story more before you just waiting and you're not listening and you're just ready just to fire back and say what you want to say, as opposed to taking the time to listen, to really hear their side of it. You might be wrong. I might actually be wrong, right? Listen, and then be slow to speak. Don't be so quick to fire off stuff, especially online and social media, and you being a keyboard warrior or a keyboard troll. You know what I'm saying? Don't be that person. Don't be that guy. Don't be that girl. Be the one who responds in love. Like, even when you're frustrated with someone, like with fans or with people you're working, don't lash out in anger. Before you send that email, and maybe you did type it up calmly, right? How can you say it in more of a loving way? How can you say it just a little nicer? You can still reprimand, you can still tell someone that you're not happy about it, but can you please add a little bit more sugar to it? Can you sweeten it up a little bit so it's not so spicy, so hot? And if you can, if it's that big of a deal, pick up the phone or do a voice audio, right? Hey, John, hey, Mike, or whoever it is, here's my heart on the situation. That way they can hear your tone. They can hear you're actually maybe not as freaked out and ticked off about the situation, but they can hear your heart and get the vibe. Because, man, when you read a text, that can come across so wrong and so you read into it and you're like, oh my gosh, and the person wasn't even actually that upset, right? So I hope this has really helped you, because this is important stuff and can cost you a lot of money. This can cost you a relationship, which can cost you a lot of money. And then it's like, yeah, I don't want to work with that person. They freak out. Like when you're working with a producer, when you're telling them you don't like the mix, or you don't like the arrangement, or you don't like something, say it in love, man. Say it in love, right? Wrap it in love. Wrap it in a nice package. And sometimes people don't like to be corrected. And I can't remember what book I shared this in. I think it's in my book, From Red to Black. I don't have it in front of me right now. But anyways, read From Red to Black, because it talks a lot about money. But it was the idea is this one producer I happened to be working with, I think I had some different changes. And I was just always so pleasantly impressed on how they responded and just handled it, right? As opposed to getting their knickers in a twist and getting all frustrated. They just dealt with it. Because why? Because they want a happy customer. They just want to make the person happy, which happened to be me at the time, right? And what a difference in an experience. What does that make me want to do? It makes me want to work with them again, right? Because it was such a good experience. And then as opposed to like, yeah, they're good at their thing, but it's always this heated thing and fighting. And I remember working with certain people. It's like, yeah, you got a good product, but to get there, it was just like, it was not fun. And people want to work with people that are cool, man, that are slow to speak, slow to wrath. Whether you're a believer or not, I'm not trying to push anything, but God has some stuff and some wisdom to say about that stuff. So I want to invite you to the next challenge that we're having. Right now, it's June 20th. We try to do them every month. Because why? Because I want to challenge you, man. I want to kick your butt. I want you to pay me and invest in yourself to kick your butt for 5 days, just like I pay my coach, whether that's especially my trainer who kicks my butt when I'm in the gym, to get me to move with my health. I want to move you with your music career. Get a VIP ticket, and it's called the Get More Fans Challenge. And for 5 days straight, for 2 hours a day, I'm going to be training you. The first hour is Q&A. It's over Zoom chat. You'll be talking to me directly. You will be hearing other questions from other artists that are asking questions that you might not have thought of, but you get to benefit of. You get to be in the room. You get to have the VIP experience, okay? So go to 10xyourfanbase.com/live challenge. The button is below. But look at this. I shared a while ago that there's a story of two artists. One artist got 20,000 streams, and the other artist got 20,000 streams. But the first artist got 20,000 streams in 2 days. The other artist, it took them 2 years to get 20,000 streams. My question for you is, how long do you want this to take? I've already got 1 million monthly listeners. I've been doing this for over 18 years full time. I'm successful. I love helping other artists, as you can see. But how long do you want it to take? How long are you going to keep putting off that which you know to do? If you knew what to do already, you'd be doing it, right? Or do you want to go around the mountain again? You want to go around another year and another year. And whether you hire me or someone else or join my challenge or someone else's thing, that's fine. My point is, how long are you going to keep going around this mountain and trying to figure it out, bumping your head, wasting more money? I hired one coach, saved me $50,000 just because of one decision, something in a contract or something here. Saved me thousands. I'm asking you to invest a fraction of that to get the knowledge that you can now benefit from for years. Like, why would you not buy someone's $20 book or $100 program or whatever it is? They spent years and years learning this stuff, and you get to get that condensed within just a few hours so you can avoid those mistakes. That's why I buy books. That's why I buy trainings. That's why I hire coaches, because I want the results faster. If there's anything I could go back and do differently, I would have gone back and done it quicker. I wouldn't have done certain things, so they wouldn't have taken so long. And now that I think about it, there were certain friends and certain people reaching out their hands to me, but I was too stubborn and too ignorant and had to do it my way, which was the hard way. And it cost me probably years of pain, and I could have been there higher. And I'll tell you what it was specifically was. Someone was trying to get me a higher level manager at the time, but I ended up just going with the very first person. And the opportunities that this one manager could get me were only here. The opportunities, and I'm talking touring, putting me in front of, This manager could put me in front of hundreds. This one would have been able to put me in front of thousands and thousands. Same amount of period of time within a year, this manager, whoever it was, could have put me in a way higher position. That's why when I invite artists to actually work with me one-on-one to coach them, not just for 5 days, but for a whole year, what's one introduction worth from me, to put you in the right place? What can you put a price on an introduction to someone to have you like level up and get there faster? Like it's priceless, right? And so this is why your circle of friends, your circle of influences, and who you work with, players, is so important.